Did you know that dance directly impacted the advancement of women's rights and overall social mobility in the early 1900s? During the late 1800s and early 1900s, parties that involved dancing took place in the private homes of the upper and middle class. Events like these have always been places for young people to meet in order to court and marry, and during this time, women were only exposed to those within their already existing circle. Parents or other adults with watchful eyes abounded, and these parties often had specific chaperones to ensure that no one got too close, while dancing or otherwise. During the same time period, ragtime began to sweep the nation. Born out of the dance halls of lower-class Americans, where people of many different races were allowed to mingle, ragtime, in the form of both dance and music, pulled from European and African influences. European-derived dance characteristics included geometric patterns of dance, dancing in a pair, who were most often a man and a woman, and those man and woman physically touching each other. African-derived dance characteristics include improvisation, polyrhythms, and animal motifs. These two blended together to create ragtime dance, with popular moves like the bunny hop, the turkey trot, and the grizzly bear. As ragtime grew in popularity, some middle and upper-class white people criticized it for being shocking or vulgar, a thinly veiled excuse for their racially motivated complaints. However, because the dance began rising in popularity, white people were bound to repackage it as their own, and exhibition ballroom dancers such as Irene and Vernon Castle soon became a hot item. Performing in restaurants and cabarets while patrons sat and ate, these professional dancers would perform their ballroom dance, which was co-opted or derived from ragtime swing. When the professionals were done, they would move aside, opening up the dance floor for the patrons of the establishment. It was in this situation where middle and upper-class white women began to gain freedom. Dance no longer took place in private homes, but publicly in cabarets, where they could meet and dance with anyone. In places like these, the crowd was more similar to the dance halls where ragtime came from, with people of different races and social classes mixing. It was also at this time that young women began to go out with groups of friends to dance, since the previous structure had not allowed for that. People knew and began to agree that dancing was good for women's health, which allowed women to argue against the constricting clothes of the late 1800s. In the 1910s, fashion began to move away from the corsets and excessive layers of old and into flowing, looser, and shorter dresses. While this specifically impacted upper and middle-class white women when it comes to women's individual freedoms, social mobility for all became accessible in a way that had never been possible before.